this is Judy Adele, and I am going to be commenting on a music video. I do not know what the music video is that I'm going to be commenting on because I like the element of surprise, and I've got a DJ feeding them to me. So let's dive in and see what I'm going to be talking about today. Oh, wow.
Of friends all through their high school days. Both members of the 4-H club, both active in the FFA. After graduation, Mary Ann went out looking for a bright new world. Wanda looked all around this town and all she found was Earl. To die. Goodbye, Earl. Those bug-eyed peas, they tasted alright to me. Earl, you feeling weak? Why don't you lay down and sleep? Earl, ain't it dark? Wrapped up in that
Okay. I love that's another horribly cheery song about abuse and death, and I I I want to not love this song as much as I do, but I do. And you know, art is a way to express ourselves and the things that we can't necessarily do in real life. So I'm just gonna let myself enjoy this song because I feel guilty. Not a fan of like violence and revenge violence, and not a fan of people beating on their wives either. But this is one of those songs that I feel like I shouldn't like, but it's a well-written song, a very interesting video. Man, the amount of folks they got involved in this video is kind of wild. But anyway, yeah, there we go.
They searched the house high and low. Then they tipped their hats and said, "Thank you, ladies. If you hear from him, let us know." Well, the weeks went by, and spring turned to summer, and summer faded into the fall. And it turns out he was a missing person who nobody missed at all. So the girls bought
Yes, the song is very complex in the fact that, so thinking about that this song came out in 1999, back when, our world has changed since then, right? So listening to it now, I feel bad, right? In the sense that I don't want to be promoting, the violence and the revenge violence, at the same time understanding, especially where we were back then, and for some people where we are right now. Back in 1999, yeah, this was kind of in a place where, as they say in the song, she went to the police and he walked right through the restraining order and put her in intensive care. And so what do people have to do to get help, right? And so back then, and before, women were expected to just take it, and often, you know, there are a lot of cases where, in order to get something accomplished or to be heard, she ended up being put in a position where she had to take things into her own hands. Now, this one is a sort of, if we want to get into this discussion, which is a dangerous thing to do, this is a premeditated, again, think back in the time, as opposed to somebody who is in self-defense. But then there's that question of, there is the self-defense that you have when somebody is physically on you in that moment, and the self-defense that you have over time of being physically abused, emotionally abused, and mentally abused, and pushed to that edge, and having, again, no, police won't even stand behind you, or, I mean, they'll stand behind you, but potentially, but a restraining order only does so much, right? So this is a very complex song. I have a lot of complex feelings about it because I love it and I enjoy it, and I tend to not be in the space. Like, I understand people who say, you know what, it's a song promoting violence, I am not going to listen to it. Or people who say, I'm not going to listen to, songs that are, from my childhood that promote negativity, or see women as objects and that kind of thing. I totally get that. I tend not to be that person exactly. I kind of can take it for what it is, or what it was, and not saying that what it was a good thing at the time. Maybe it's just being able to find the piece of connection that I had in it, which a lot of times, especially for some of the music, it wasn't in the lyrics. So it's not going to be something that I might not massively promote now as, look at this great whatever, but I tend to can still enjoy the things, for whatever pieces of them I can enjoy, on some level. And that's not true for everything. I certainly have my things that are not okay. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is that I understand the people who look at this and say, not okay. And I also understand people who can see the lighter side of it, see where it was, and maybe the commentary that it was trying to make in its time. I didn't realize that the song was written by a guy for a different band, before the Dixie Chicks did it. So that's also interesting to even think about it from that perspective. And I know there are versions of that video that at the end they have like the domestic abuse hotline type numbers. So to not just make that song the sort of end of the message, to say, here's a tool to get some help. But again, back in 1999, and even now, it's not so easy to get problems resolved. So I guess I am happy that they have the line about the restraining order in there, because that is something that has happened many times, and it's still happening today, where that's the solution you have, but that doesn't solve the problem. So asking the bigger question of how do we solve the problem, and trying to call out to people as a kind of throwing this conversation on the table, right? It opens the door to the conversation. So if you disagree with the method, I can understand that. But I think that it actually did do some good in opening up that conversation. And I know I heard some very specific stories about how that song was actually very helpful in people getting some help. So in that respect, again, art being one of those things that we can utilize in many different ways, and that doesn't make it always right or perfect or the best method, but it is nice when positive things can come out of it, and who the heck knows what is the right method. Obviously, we haven't figured that one out for this subject, and many, many things. If we knew the right way to do it, then we'd have a lot of problems solved. So people are taking stabs at doing things in the best way they know how, in trying to pick people's brains and get inside our heads to get us to think in many different methods. So if we can take that idea and at least understand that, and like I said, so many things we don't have the answer. If it was all simple, we'd have a lot of problems solved by now. So okay, well, from a fun and cheery song with a very complex and intense message, and its own controversy. I haven't seen that video for a really long time. It is interesting to go through life and view those things that we saw at one point in time, and see them in different ways with different thought processes and different culture input at different times in our life. On that note, thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe to the channel, and comment below if you have any thoughts, respectful thoughts on different opinions and mindsets. I would love to hear them. I'd love to hear about other videos that you would enjoy having me comment on. All different types of genres. As you can tell, if you look at the channel, we're all over the board, and that is totally awesome to me. So I appreciate all of you guys and your support. And for all you newcomers, check out the other videos. Thank you so much. And until next time, take good care and enjoy the music.